Must have players. Players we can't leave the draft without. We got to have them. The draft is going, whether it be best ball, dynasty, redraft, whatever it is. That player, I got to have him on my roster. And he's all on my rosters right now. These players that we're going to introduce, we got 6 of them. And on this show, I got the great and powerful Walter from Walter Football. Welcome to the show, Walter.
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me on. I can't wait to break this down. I know we're going to have some disagreements, which is always fun because if we agreed on everything, it'd be a boring show. So I can't wait to get to these 6 players.
I'm not sure how your boxing is. I used to be a former MMA fighter. I'm a little bit washed up when it comes to fighting, but I really want to box you on some of these players because we're going to butt heads. I don't agree with the 3 that you got, but I guess I want to hear your reasons why. I want you to convince me, and maybe you don't like my guys. I want, you might need some convincing as well. I'm excited to dive in, but I've done a bunch of best ball. I know you're like, what, how many best ball leagues are you in right now? How deep are you in?
I have done 108 best ball drafts so far,
Wow.
which sounds like a lot, but my goal by the end of the summer was 350. So I'm actually behind pace, and I'm going to Las Vegas next week, so I can't do it there. So I have to get in a lot of these best ball drafts while I can.
Man, I don't even know how you do it. All right, what's the buy-in typically on some of these leagues? Are we talking $10, $100? What's the buy-in?
Well, I don't know if we can mention the site. I don't know if you're cool with that on the show, but the site I use, they have a $20 buy-in for the top prize being $2 million, 1 million to second place, 750K to third, and so on and so forth. So most of the entries have been in the $20. I've done some more expensive ones, some $100. But then, like, if I'm like watching the kids and like if I have to go and can't finish the draft, I'll do like a $3 one. So it's kind of like mix and match here and there. It depends on like how focused I can be on the draft, and really it depends on like what the wait time for the draft room is.
It's kind of nice. You set it and forget it. You just set it and just leave it, really, ultimately, which is kind of nice. But then again, it's kind of like once you're done with it, you don't really look at it, which is kind of like, it's kind of sad. You leave the team kind of behind, right? Got to maybe check the score. That's why I like redraft so much better, but I've been trying to get as much best ball in as I can as well. And that's why I've got these particular players in all of them. So I'm excited to dive in. Before we do, head on over to thefantasyfootballaccounts.com, grab the 60-round draft solution. It'll put you light years ahead of the sheep. Sleepers, breakouts, optimal rosters, secure the solution, secure the championship. I've linked it below. And go head on over to follow at, what is it, walterfootball.com, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have tons of content on there, not just fancy NFL mock drafts, picks against the spread. It's all free. So come check us out.
Yeah, you're one of the OGs at this. How long has that site been up, honestly? How long have you been at this?
So I started it in 1999, in the fall of 1999. It was a high school project, and then it became a hobby. And then when I went into journalism at Penn State, I'm like, okay, I can put this in my resume. And then I got an ad contract in 2007, and I'm like, wait, I can do this full time. This is crazy. So yeah, it's been 18 years full time and almost 26 years. The site's been up in total. It's crazy.
I'm not even going to tell you when I graduated high school because we're just aging ourselves right now, Walter. But now I kind of got a good idea how old you are, though. I can still pass. I'm going to say that I'm 29. There you go. People
you look 29. That sounds about right.
People won't believe me. Nice try, right? Yeah, as long as I keep the grays off. So I'm ready to dive in, man. Again, hit the thumbs up, smash it, turn on the bell. We're going to keep the content coming to you daily on your commute, on your drive, releasing this in the morning. And I like releasing it as early as I can in the morning. Sometimes I can't get it out exactly at 7:30. This one I'm going to get out early because I record the day before because so many people are on their commute, right? People want to get something to listen to. They're passionate about fantasy. I want to keep people into it and excited through their drive. So that's what we're here to do. All right, I'll kick it off with mine. You should always let the guests go first, but I'm being rude here. We're going to go with my must-have player. I've got him on all my rosters. And if you guys follow the channel, you know who it is. I'm going to keep talking about him, and I'm going to continue to talk about him, is Trey Harris. And the good news is, for me, not so much the other person in this case, Mike Williams already on PUP. It's like the grass is green, the sky is blue. What is new? Mike Williams already banged up, undisclosed injury as far as I heard. And listen, I love Trey Harris, man. Ex-receiver, reliable hands. He looks great after the catch. And I keep talking about it. I'm going to continue to talk about it. The Quentin Johnson project failed. If you and I, Walter, owned him, and we're like, hey, man, let's just draft this guy in the first round like we did with Quentin Johnson, and then he can't catch the ball. It's like we're throwing it against the brick wall and it's bouncing off. We're going to say to each other, hey, man, we made that mistake. Let's not let that happen again. And they fixed it with Trey Harris. And I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you now, Ladd McConkey only benefited because he was the only one there last year. I love Trey Harris, round 10 ADP, give or take around, depending on the people in your league. Love, love, love him. Are you feeling the love for Harris as much as I am? Probably not, right? But I am.
Well, I do like him. He's of the three players that you have on your list today. He's the one I own the most in best ball. He's in 14% of my teams. So usually in like round 10, that's when I'm drafting my quarterbacks. Like, I try to maybe get one of the top 5 elite quarterbacks. I know you've been recommending Josh Allen. He's definitely one of the 5. So I usually get like my first quarterback in round 4 or round 5. And then my second quarterback's usually like round 10. Like there are a couple of quarterbacks I really like who go round 10. So they usually take priority over Trey Harris. So I do like Trey Harris though. So like if one of the quarterbacks is Justin Herbert, then I'll try to pair Herbert with Trey Harris or Keandre Lambert Smith in the 20th round or something. Or, if I drafted McConkey late second round, then that's gonna be the case. So it really kind of dictates on like what I do at quarterback. But if I get Herbert, I definitely try to get Trey Harris. But even if not, like Trey Harris is definitely on my list of like guys I'm targeting in the 10th round. So it really depends on my roster construction. So I'm a fan of Trey Harris.
Yeah, I'm really excited about him. I just think that they were looking for that true alpha one. I don't think Ladd's the guy. Good slot guy. Stepped up when he needed to last year. I just don't think he's the alpha. And I think that round 2 ADPs for very expensive. This is a guy that I was really pushing. Again, I don't know if you remember, we talked about this. Don't be a donkey, draft Ladd McConkey. This was a saying that I kept screaming off the rooftops last year, but it was such a great value around 7 to 9. I don't want to pay a second round pick for a guy I got in the ninth round last year. I just don't want to do it. And I think Trey Harris is special. Now, he does have to sign his rookie contract. We're still waiting on that. And once he signs that, I think we'll be good to go. We'll be ready.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be really good. I still think Ladd McConkey is gonna have a great year. I remember the old Patriots teams when they had Randy Moss, but like Wes Welker was still a huge producer
Yeah.
every year, and I think that could be like McConkey's role, just like an upgraded Wes Welker of sorts. I still think that like late second. I think like when he was going early second, I wasn't a fan, but now you can sometimes get him late second round, and at that point, it's like. I like him better than the other options there. So I am getting a little bit of McConkey, but like not a lot. So I get what you're saying. Like, it's definitely not the same value. And that's all about, it's what fantasy is all about. It's all about value.
All right, let's go to your second guy. I'll introduce him and I'll let you dive right in. And I like him. I like the talent here. There's no doubt. I just think that it's a crowded core at wide receiver. But Emeka Egbuka, what are your thoughts?
So I think it's a perceived crowded core because you look at the roster, you're like, oh, there's so many receivers. You have Kate Otten as well. You have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, even Jalen McMillan from last year. I don't think it's as crowded as people think, though, because Chris Godwin is already questionable to play week 1. Like they're like, he may not be ready. Like, does that sound like someone from last year, like Christian McCaffrey, where they're like, we don't know if he's going to play week 1. He's a calf injury, and then it turned into Achilles. He played 4 games. I think the same thing's going to happen to Chris Godwin, and they gave him a big contract in February, and then they drafted Egbuka, and at the time it just didn't make sense. But I thought about it. It really reminded me of what the Falcons did last year with Michael Penix. They gave Kirk Cousins a $100 million contract. Then they drafted Michael Penix 2 months later. And it's like, why would they do that? They just paid Cousins so much money. And I think what happened was they saw Cousins throw and they're like, oh man, this guy sucks. Like we need to go to another option. And I think that's the same thing that happened with Godwin. They're like, oh man, he's not healthy at all. And so they needed to, I think in the short term, I think they needed to replace Chris Godwin with Emeka Egbuka, and long term, Mike Evans is going to be 32 in August.
Yeah.
So they need Egbuka for the long term, but for Chris Godwin, short term. I saw a report the other day. I don't know how accurate it was. It's from a doctor. He was saying that Chris Godwin is probably not going to be ready until week 8. So that's going to give Egbuka a lot of time to get on the field. And if he's as good as I think he is, and I love Egbuka, I've had him in the first round of my mock draft like the entire time. I think that he could just take over and just Godwin just kind of like left in the dust. He could give you like Wally pipped in a sense. So and also Evans is 32. Like he can get hurt again. He missed a few games last year. Like there's a scenario where Egbuka is suddenly the number 1 receiver if Evans gets hurt. Like I think that in the 8th round, I think he's just an amazing value.
Yeah, I like him more than that Tatoria McMillan guy on the Panthers. I would rather have Egbuka. And I think he's going to have some really special games in best ball. I think he's going to have some big games for sure. I can hear his name already being called out. And yeah, make some good points. But again, he's just some moving pieces there to kind of have him slide in as the 1. and he is the future. So dynasty 100% and best ball 100%. Redraft, there's going to be some moving pieces, but I definitely see some emergence there. Just not right out of the gate from me. But I can't wait to see what he does on the field. There's some elite talent there for sure.
Yeah, I think he's the number
Yeah,
2 sorry, I think he's the number 2, like, right away because I don't think Godwin's gonna play until, like, November.
that's
So, yeah, so
that's
I
good
think
insight.
8th round is just great value.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are hesitant on him, assuming that Godwin's going to play immediately. So that's really good
Yep.
insight. If you're absolutely right, if you know, and then at that point, he's taking the job if he really shines, and then Godwin kind of just takes a back seat, which he should because he just has years to wow us. We're not wowed as of late, right? So,
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
all right, next guy here is pretty obvious here, but not so obvious because a lot of people are sleeping on him in round one. Ashton Genty. Now, obviously, the offense has some question marks. It's an entirely new offense, new quarterback, new receivers, but there really is no competition when you look at the depth chart there with Vegas. I mean, I'm going to pull up the depth chart here myself to look at it. Raheem Mostert, which isn't a threat. Then they got a guy named Dylan Lube, like lubrication, Lube. I call him lubrication. Dylan Lubrication. And then they got a guy, Sincere McCormick, who really sucks. And then Zamir White is just sucks. I don't even know what to say. I mean, my suckasode is coming out soon where I just yell at all these people for sucking. So there's no one else there. You draft this guy in the first round. Now there was talk about, was it Pete Carroll? Was it, I think, that quoted this is a month or two ago, like, oh, we're going to run a committee. Like, they're going to say that. Like, he didn't say committee. He said something like, we're going to get other guys worked in. Like, imagine like if you were on a team and your running backs are like, we're only going to run Genty. Like, how would the other guys feel? Like, would they even want to show up to camp, right? Like, he's got to kind of say, like, everyone's going to get involved. And that also keeps Genty hungrier, right? They're not going to say, hey, you've just taken the job before training camp, right? But I don't see anybody taking volume here. I'm looking at 300 attempts. I'm looking at a ton of receptions. I'm excited about this offense. They got Brock Bowers. They got Dante Thornton, who was on the show recently. They've got Jack Beck. They drafted Besh, whatever his name is. So I'm excited, man. They've got some weapons, and Beck is a dog too. So, man, Genty. When I'm in the first round, Jan's gone. This is the guy I'm targeting. And I look at Gibbs and I look at this guy. I see more volume, more upside for Genty. And I love Gibbs. I love Gibbs. Don't get me wrong. But the Montgomery Thorn is just too much for me, man. It's in my side. And if I'm drafting a guy in the first round, knowing that the first drive, Montgomery's coming out, no, I'm not doing it. I just can't do it. Genty, I don't feel that. I feel like the first drive, it's going to be Ashton Genty on the first drive. It's not going to be David Montgomery there. So I love him. He's on all my leagues because I tend to draft after round 6 to 12. I never tend to get an early round pick for some reason in best ball or whatever. So Genty just happens to be my first overall pick. He's my ride or fade into the sunset pick, man. Thoughts on Genty? I don't think you're as high on him as I am, though.
No, I'm not. I have him at 6% of drafts, so I've drafted him a little bit. I've taken him like when he's fallen to round 2, like sometimes like 202, 203. That's when I'll take a shot on him. So we have a video up on the site from Charlie Campbell. He's if you don't know who that is, he's the most accurate mock drafter in the world. This is chronicled by Fantasy Pros and everyone else. So he's had the most accurate mock draft in the 4 of the last 10 years in the world, and he has that because he has so many sources, and he has very close sources to the Raiders. And in this video, he was talking about how he just wouldn't take Genty in the first round, or maybe not even the second round, because his sources with the Raiders said, to quote, it might take a while for the fantasy value to get there. They're not very pleased with the pass protection aspect of it, and also Pete Carroll has a history of just not using first round rookies. Now, I think he will, because his son is the run game coordinator, and there is some nepotism going on there, and I think he wants his son to be a head coach someday. So the best way to do that is to run the best player. But I think like in September, I think you're going to see more Raheem Mostert than you want. Like in week 1, what surprised me, if like Genty gets like 18 carries, Mostert gets like 13, and like everyone's like, what is going on here? Like people draft Genty, like why is Pete Carroll doing this? And I think maybe by like mid-October, like Genty is going to be a full go and he's going to get most of the work. But I think like in September, it's going to be a little touchy. So I'd rather just get some other players in round one. But if in the scenario where Genty falls around two, which is happening sometimes on the site that I use, then I'm more than happy to take him because of the upside. I mean, his talent is unbelievable. Like you're right about that. Like there's no questioning his talent. I just worry about like the rookie first round. Like remember 2 years ago, people were taking Bijan in the first round,
Yeah.
and then we saw Tyler Algier out carry him in week one, and people were like, "What? Like why did I take him in the first round?" I think it's the same thing's going to happen, and then by week 5, 6, it's gonna be all Genty. So I'm just saying I like some other guys more, but I don't have a problem with Genty.
I disagree with you, but very fresh perspective. And that's what makes it so interesting, right? Like I'm just like hack and slash, go Genty, go Genty. And you're like,
Right.
pump the brakes, hold on a second. I just don't think Monster's going to be that much of a threat, but that's me. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. I just hope it unfolds, in regards to fantasy relevance. So, a couple questions for you. Actually, you're at like the 8th pick or 9th pick, or let's say 10th pick. You're drafting at the end of round one. I'm going to give you some names here, and you tell me Genty or this guy. Ready?
Sure.
Amon-Ra St. Brown or Genty?
Genty. I'm down on all the lines this year.
Okay. Let's go. Malik Neighbors or Genty?
I love Neighbors. Neighbors is like I think he'd be number one receiver next year.
I think so too. I think we agree on that. I just tend to still go Genty based on running back. All right. That's what I do. Derrick Henry or Genty? I know Derrick Henry's kind of slips in the second round there, but Derrick Henry or Genty?
Genty Henry's too old.
Okay. Gibbs or Genty?
I think Gibbs by nose. I like I said, I'm down on all the lines this year. I don't think they make the playoffs.
Wow. Is it just because why is that? It's new offensive coordinator, like Ben Johnson being gone, regression year. What are your thoughts?
Well, not just Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's gone. Aaron Glenn's gone. Like both coordinators are gone, and their center's gone. They the best center in the NFL last year. Frank Ragnow, he's gone, and they lost Kevin Zeitler, the other guard. Like their interior offensive line is garbage, and the lines became good because they built their offensive line, and now that's no longer a strength. Like it's now almost a weakness. So I think, and plus their schedule is ridiculous. Like last year, they played nothing but dome games. Like Goff didn't go outside. Like this year, he's gonna have to go outside in the cold like 4 or 5 times. Like it's gonna be pretty brutal.
Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Goff, when's his over the cliff year? I mean, how many good years does he have left?
Yeah, I don't know. I think with Ben Johnson gone, I think we might see a steep fall for Jared Goff.
I see it. Could be.
Yeah.
All right. Going to your next guy. Speaking of falling, he fell. Actually, worse, he got pew-pewed. I don't even want to say the word here. And then he came back up. Good for him. I'm not laughing at the pew-pew. I'm laughing at that he's back up. Like he's good. I'm happy for him, right? Ricky Pearsall, tons of heart. I got a note here. But is the volume going to be there? When I look at the depth chart here, I mean, I know you're high on him, and I definitely see the heart. And I see Kittle taking a regression. I think Kittle was a beneficiary because of the pew-pew to Ricky Pearsall and the lack of performance last year with Debo, who's now shipped off, and Ayuk not performing where he should. And I think that was a big waste. I was warning people, no Ayuk and no Debo last year, round 3. They got Juwan Jennings now, who I'll let you talk. You know the scenario better than me. If you're in on what's the deal with Pearsall?
Well, Pearsall was I did a fantasy sleepers video last week, and I pointed out Brian Thomas Jr. was my number one sleeper. I think he was your number one sleeper as well. But before Rico Pearsall got shot, Pearsall was actually my number one sleeper. Brian Thomas Jr. is number 2. Pearsall has just elite agility. I think that he's going to be a great receiver in the NFL, and I think he's going to be the number 1 receiver in San Francisco this year. Like, if you think, like, obviously George Kittle's there, Christian McCaffrey's there, but McCaffrey gets hurt all the time. Like, he hasn't finished 3 of his past 5 seasons. You talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
George Kittle's 32 now. Like, yeah, there might be a regression this year. I would say I'd probably bet no. I think he's going to have another good year, but not like an amazing year. And then, like, you kind of have to wonder who's going to be the number 1 receiver. The other options are Brandon Ayuk, who is not just coming off a torn ACL, also a torn MCL. So I think he's going to be back by November. Another receiver who's just being drafted too early, who's injured. There's Juwan Jennings, who suddenly is holding out for contracts. Like he's had like 3 great games in his career. Like
I know, that's what I was thinking. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Yeah.
Have a great year this year and then ask for a new contract. Don't like he didn't do anything yet. So this feels like a Ponzi scheme with Juwan Jennings. I think that Ricky Pearsall is by far the best healthy wide receiver on the roster. And I think that, especially if McCaffrey goes down, like he's going to get so many targets, and McCaffrey stays healthy, he's still going to be the number 1 wide receiver. And he's going in the 7th round. And keep in mind, San Francisco has the easiest schedule in the NFL. I talk about how I've been covering the NFL for 26 years. This is the easiest schedule I've ever seen in my life. Like their easiest non-divisional game is at Houston. Like this is like cupcake after cupcake. You know, if you're playing best ball, you're looking at the fantasy playoffs, so you can advance and win the big money. Like their playoff schedule is super easy. Like it's easy opponents all around. He's going to be able to get open all year, especially with his agility scores. Like this guy's a stud. I don't think people realize he he's going 7th round. So I love the value with him in the 7th round.
Man, like I got him in 16 rounds. I definitely see the upside, see the talent a little bit. I just wondering how much volume. And now you've kind of sold me a little bit on Pierce. So I have no stock in him in any of my leagues. And that could be a huge mistake. I'm just not a huge 49ers guy. And maybe I've not liked them with the whole Christian McCaffrey thing. I've just kind of taken a back seat in my mind. But Pierce, I definitely see you've made a compelling case towards him. And I personally don't have a lot of stock in him, but definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
The next guy here, I'm going to keep talking about him, but Arthur Smith is kind of the Achilles heel to all this. But Caleb Johnson, all my leagues, like this is just the guy I get in all my leagues 5th round. It's kind of like my go-to. It is my go-to. I never look anywhere else. It's kind of like tunnel vision on this guy simply because I looked up his talent, man. He's a battle horse. Battle tested is the word. Workhorse is what I'm trying to say. And actually, I talked about him yesterday's show in regards to sleepers. RB27, round 6 on average ADP, right? One of the most dominant rushing seasons in Iowa's history. Okay, listen to this. He's just the 5th Hawkeye to record multiple 200+ yard games. He had 8 100-yard performances. Feature back capable, 6 foot 220. He runs with controlled violence, vision, reliable hands, and he's got everything. He's like the complete package. Yes, he doesn't have 4.3, 4.4 speed. He's got 4.57, but in game, I think he's going to do well. Listen, I love everything about him. I love the opportunity. 260 freed up targets with what's his face gone, Najee, who couldn't average 4 yards a carry to save his life, and then he's out there, with the fireworks now, which is crazy. And I look at it, I'm just like, man, it seems like everything seems right. And we had Warren, who was limited to 120. If they loved Warren, they wouldn't have even drafted Caleb. He's not a workhorse. I'm not sold on Warren. And I saw the video of Warren where he's got a metal soccer net and he's running with it, almost like, look at me. He's trying too hard. He knows he's going to lose his job. Dude, I don't see any competition with Warren. People are going to disagree. You might even disagree with me. What are your thoughts on this? But Caleb Johnson, I see a top 5 finisher. I see the next big thing here. By the way, he's compared himself to like a Dalvin Cook and Henry. He's got that type of mentality.
I love Caleb Johnson as a player. I had him in the 2nd round of my mock draft. I was shocked he fell to the 3rd round. So I thought the Steelers got a great pick. And it was really their 2nd pick because they didn't have a 2nd round pick from the Metcalf trade. So they basically got him in the 2nd round. And I agree with you about Jalen Warren. Like not only is he just pretty mediocre, he's good. He's a good receiver, but as a runner, he's just not very good. He's also injured a lot. So even if he does get the early workload, like there's no guarantee he's going to stay healthy. So I think there's a great chance that Caleb Johnson is just a league winner for you, like down the stretch, like he's just going nuts, in the fantasy playoffs and whatnot. So I have him in 8% of my best ball drafts, and it's probably going to go up. Like I've been drafting him more often lately, especially given that like he's going late 7th round in the platform I'm using. In fact, I got him like 803 like the other night,
Wow.
and I couldn't believe there. So I love the value of Caleb Johnson. There are 2 issues though I have with him, and whenever I draft him, I'm like, okay, great. I might have a league winner, but might also have someone who doesn't play much. And the first, you mentioned Arthur Smith. Like I really despise Arthur Smith. Can you believe, by the way, he's worth $3 billion? Arthur Smith is right now.
Wow. His dad, if you don't know, his dad owns FedEx, guys.
Yeah,
So
his dad passed away, so he's inherited.
His dad passed away? When did he pass away?
About like a week or 2 ago. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, so it's insane. He's like offensive coordinator is worth $3 billion. He could buy the team. It's crazy, but yeah, he has just a bad history of using players like even in Atlanta when he was using Algier over Bijan. Like sometimes he was using Cordell Patterson over Bijan. And I was like, what are you doing? Like I just don't trust this guy. And the other guy I don't really trust is Aaron Rodgers. Like not as a passer, but just like a guy who could get frustrated with a rookie and like he might just be like. Caleb Johnson blew this assignment. Get Jalen Warren on the field. Like, he's a veteran, those are the two things I'm a little scared of. But I love the talent with Caleb Johnson. I do ultimately think he's going to win out one way or the other, whether it's because he's great or because Jalen Warren gets hurt. I think it's a good pick. Like I've made it in the seventh or eighth round. Especially if he was like eighth round, it's insane. It's insane value.
Half glass full here on that, Aaron Rodgers. That's a really good point. A lot of people saying that as well. If the pass protection isn't up to par, then he's going to get the boot or whatever. And Aaron Rodgers likes to control things. We know that. But that on the same end, like if you're half glass full, you got to say, well, Caleb Johnson hopefully will tighten things up and be more mentally there with a veteran like Aaron Rodgers there. And Aaron Rodgers now, he's not going to be moving as much on his feet like he used to back in the Packers day. So I don't think he'll be as mobile, which is also going to be good for Caleb Johnson. So I'm excited for him, man. I think the opportunity is there, and I think they're going to be playing to win. I think Tomlin's a guy that likes to run, and hopefully he supersedes anything that Arthur Smith says, and because they like to run the workhorse. We've seen it many years with Tomlin, and he's in the hot seat as well. If he doesn't make a deep playoff run, that's it for Tomlin, I think. So they got to play their best players. This is not a year these guys want to, dick around. They've got to win. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and I think they will win. So I think they'll make the playoffs. You can argue they might be the fourth best team in the conference.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I can't wait to see when Caleb hits the field, man. At this point, we're in mid-July. I just want football to start. Like I'm kind of over talking about it. I talk about it year round. You do too. You do a lot of that mock draft stuff with the NFL draft. I mean, this is back in April, probably. Like, when do you start looking at that stuff? Like February, like early. You look at it all year, right?
Well, I'm about to publish my 2027 NFL mock draft, so we're like 2 years in advance here. So, yeah, I'm definitely familiar with Caleb Johnson. Just watched him a lot in Iowa. I love him. I couldn't believe he falls to the third round. It's crazy.
All right, sell me on the last guy here, and I don't think it'll be hard selling me, but I've got no stock in him as well. I definitely see some upside, but your guy, Isaac Orendo, and we're like, if you look at the average right now with CMC, he's 2 for 5 in regards to successful seasons. He had the bust year last year, and then he had the 2 good seasons. Then he had the 2 years where he played in 2020, 2021, played a combined 10 games. So he's basically not even batting 500 right now. Like he's trying to get to 50 here. So if he goes down, man, can Garendo really take that load? They've also got a rookie there and Jordan James. They got Juszczyk, who isn't much of a threat there. Like, what's your fascination with Garendo? Is this just based on, like, you're assuming and banking on a CMC injury here? Like, what's your story with Garendo?
Well, it's all about where you can get Garendo. Garendo in these best ball drafts is going round 12 or round 13. I kind of joke that I kind of buoy his ADP. So every time we get to the 12th round, if no one crazy falls to me, I'm like, I just snap Garendo pick. You're probably going to laugh at this. I own Garendo in 70% of my leagugues.
Whoa.
70. That's how confident I am in this guy. And if you think about it, you might be like, why are you risking so much? It's not a risk because you're getting him in the 12th round. Like, if Garendo fails, I just missed out on a 12th round pick with upside. You got to think about the upside, though. Like, you just said it. McCaffrey has failed to finish 3 out of his last 5 years. He's now 29 years old. Now, it sounds like he's explosive now. All the reports are positive. He probably will stay healthy for maybe a month or two, but at some point, he's likely to miss time. And I talked about how the Niners have the easiest schedule. Like, if Garendo gets on the field, and there's really no competition. Like, Jordan James was a fifth rounder. They really have no one else. It's like, unlike last year when they had Elijah Mitchell, he got hurt, but then they had Jordan Mason. Both those guys are gone, and now it's just Garendo. This guy is not just big, but he has elite speed as well. Like, he's just, I don't know, like, I'm not a fan of him as like a pure runner, but like, if he gets into the open field, he can just go for 80-yard runs all the time. And given that Niners have a good offensive line and they face such an easy schedule, he's going to have an opportunity to do it. So he could easily just be one of these league winners. Like, if McCaffrey goes down, I'm going to make so much money. It's going to be insane. And he's one of these, like, in best ball, when you get to this corridor of like round 12 to round 16, there are a bunch of guys I've drafted, like Tyler Algier. Like, if Bijan goes down, Algier is going to win your league. Jalen Wright, if Devon Achane, who's very injury prone, goes down, he's going to win your league. Will Shipley, if Saquon Barkley goes down, and he had so many carries last year and is on the mana cover, if he goes down, Shipley's going to win your league. So, and Dylan Sampson now. If Jerome Ford, he sucks anyway. Sampson's probably going to get the most workload with Judkins having that domestic violence stuff. He's going to win your league. league. So like you can get a bunch of these guys in rounds 12 through 15. What I like to do is like take 2 running backs early and then just like go ham in like round 12 to 16, just like take 3 or 4 running backs there and just hopefully well, you never want to root for injury, but like if the starters get hurt, like they are going to win you your league. You're going to win so much money in best ball. And it applies to like redraft leagues as well. Like you want to hang on to like 2 guys because let's just say McCaffrey goes down, like Garendo is going to be the #1 most requested waiver wire pickup. That you can beat people to the punch just by owning him. So just take him in the late round. If nothing happens, then you just whiffed on a late round pick. But if McCaffrey goes down, like that's a league winning player for you.
Yeah, good points here. But why didn't he, like, I'm looking at last year's stats 16 games played, 84 attempts, 420 yards, 5 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. Why didn't he get stuff done? Why wouldn't they, if he's that good, why wouldn't they just start him over Mason? Was Mason that much better? Basically played 12 games, 153 attempts compared to the 84 of Garendo. Why wouldn't Garendo just take over last year then?
Grendo's a rookie last year, and Mason had experience. He was in that system, and Mason was having a great year too. I mean, he was excellent. The Vikings gave him a decent contract, and now his ADP is 9th round, which I think is like a little too early. I wish Mason was going like 12th round, like the rest of these guys. I would take him a lot there. But I mean, Mason's a really good player too, and like I think it's just a trust issue. But now Garendo has more experience. I think that he's going to get more of a workload. It kind of reminds me of, like I mentioned Charlie Campbell before. He talked about how it's funny how stuff like this happens where like the Buccaneers from like 15 or so years ago, they drafted Cadillac Williams in the top 5, but he didn't play third down. Like they didn't trust him. They used Michael Pittman over him instead. And then a few years later, they drafted LeGarrette Blount, but he didn't play right away. They used Cadillac Williams instead. So it's sort of that same sort of deal. Garendo was a rookie; they don't trust him. But now that he has experience, they're going to use him a lot more. So yeah, I think that like he and a bunch of the other guys I mentioned, like you just take a bunch of them, they're going to really pan out for you. I mean, Garendo was a 4th round pick, which is earlier than James, and I think they really like him. And Kyle Shanahan and his dad too, Mike Shanahan, they just have a long history of turning running backs into superstars. You can go long down the list, and I think Garendo will be the next one.
Yeah, out of all these guys, I'd say I like Emeka the most. Pearsall, things got to go right for him to really take that one role. I think it's got to be like that perfect storm. And Garendo as well, you got to bank on a CMC injury, which is very viable. But I do see CMC trending up, obviously from last year. There's no way but up. I just don't know if he's going to play the full season. I see him missing a couple games. I just don't see a catastrophic injury for CMC this year. That's my issue. So yeah, I like your picks. I'm just not, I personally don't have a lot of stock, but I think that Emeka Egbuka's pick is just special. I think that guy could be really special talent, honestly, especially in Dynasty. Excited about him.
Yeah, I love Egbuka. He's so talented. He's definitely the most talented player I talked about. But no, I like Pearsall too. And then even if you don't like Garendo, like you should still use that strategy. You should still take your Shipleys and your Rice and your Algiers and your Braylon Allens and your Ray Davises. Like you should take those guys in rounds 12 through 16 if you're doing best ball, because those guys are going to win you they're going to win you a lot of money.
Walter, thanks a lot, man. What a show. I love talking with you, man. Well, let's get you on more regularly. We're entering prime time. Your insight is very valuable, and you're giving some insight that I overlook or miss, things with offensive lines and coordinators and different players and injuries. And because you look at like the whole picture, I'm kind of more fantasy. I'm honed in. I'm really, really good at the fantasy, knowing kind of, who to pick and what to do. I have a real good sixth sense of that. But you're really a natural in regards to like everything else, football. So it's a huge value to talk real football and mix it in with some fantasy as well. So it's huge for the show. So thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I love talking football with you. I can't wait till next time.
Yeah, man. WalterFootball.com. Check him out. Go grab the 16-round draft, which I've linked it below. Listen, have yourself an outstanding day. Do you want to say anything to everybody out there who's going to start work right now?
Good luck with work. I don't know. Definitely listen to Joe. He's the great fantasy insight. Brian Thomas Jr., Lad McConkey. Those are two of his top sleepers last year. So you definitely want to check that out. We had some great sleepers as well. We had Brian Thomas Jr. We had Bucky Irving was one of our top sleepers. He was ADP was 15th round last year. So yeah, I mean football is about to start. I can't wait. It felt like the summer's lasted like 3 years, but football is actually the Hall of Fame games coming up soon, so I can't wait for it.
The reason I say that is just because I did the commute for like 14 years. I had this one job I hated. It wasn't one job, it was multiple jobs. I was a hydraulic sales technician. I hated my job, and I really enjoyed sometimes listening to different, talk shows and stuff as I commuted. And I feel you guys. I've been there with you. So that's why I'm like, get motivated, get excited. Fantasy's back. We're going to be your outlet. So make sure you guys subscribe, turn on your bell, and listen, have yourself a great day. And yeah, make sure that you have these guys on your roster. That's it. Love them.